Welcome, welcome, welcome to Community Roundtable. I am. They call me Ferdinand, the bringer of balance, leader of many disciplines, and one of the hosts of the Community Roundtable. But you already know, I'm here to announce the goddess, that queen in the streets, Uganda, Sample Jones. How you doing?
All is well. Thank you so much. You always make me blush when you do the introduction. Thank you so much, bro. I am Uganda Sample Jones, your favorite community auntie and connector, and I am the lover of all righteousness and fighter against injustice. Welcome to our community roundtable.
Today,
So,
our topic is no one is coming to save us. You know, this is a really important thing for us to understand. And it's always been this. It's never been anything different. There's never been a group of people who have been coming to save us. We've always had the power to save ourselves because of us being melanated beings. We have the earth.
yeah,
Gaia provides.
yeah,
Multiversal consciousness provides. God provides. No matter which way you want to look at the the creator of all provides. And the multiversal beings, the beings of light, the melanated beings of this planet, we're supposed to be consuming of the earth, which puts us in a vibrational frequency where they would have to raise theirs to get to us. And there ain't nobody who can raise theirs to get to us.
that's right. That's right. I remember talking to my husband, and I always say the great philosopher Kanye said it best, right? He said they made us love their wealth and hate ourselves, and that's really true because when we talk about getting back to what we are, who we are, and our connection with the earth, we have all that we need to be successful, but we've really forgotten about group economics. We've forgotten about the village. We've forgotten about the powers that we possess within ourselves. So I'm definitely excited about our guest today because she's very powerful.
That's a fact. That is a fact. I'm looking forward to our very special guest tonight. Hey, and listen, I'm not telling y'all who it is. Y'all gonna have to stay tuned in. And listen, everybody who's here, thank you so much for being here. Please make sure that you comment, you like, you love, you share, you subscribe. Listen, we've got to get the word out on empowerallva.org. Okay, listen, y'all get on over there to the internet. Y'all get on your Safaris, get on your Chromes, get on whatever browser that you use, and you go to empowerallva.org right now, and y'all get onto the contact. Y'all send Uganda a message just so she know you was on the website. Okay, y'all go show us some love. Y'all help her out because listen, we got to work together to heal our communities. We got somebody who out here in these streets. They looking out, they doing what they're supposed to do for our children, but we got to do our work on the back end to help them so that they have the energy that they need to do this every day, right? Because this is hard work. Make no mistake about it. It takes a lot of sacrifice to do what Miss Uganda is doing, right? So we've got to make sure that we are standing behind her. All right, y'all go to the website.
I definitely appreciate that, bro. And we can always be found on social media. You know, some people don't like going to websites for some reason. I'm not sure, but we are on social media. We are here. We are live. We are active. You can meet me at Piggly Wiggly if you want to, but we are here just to help our community to any way that we can to create social economic change, but definitely connect the dots in our community. And that's what we do. We are blessed to be able to do that very well. And we just love to see people reach their full potential through resources because, hey, information is free. It's our job to get it to you. So, with that being said, is our guest ready?
With that being said, we got a very, very special guest. This is the digital age manifestation of Ma'at. This
Mm,
is the judge. This is the queen mother of law,
yes.
Bakira. How you doing? How you doing, Minister Bakira
Hey
Shabazz?
everyone.
How you doing?
I'm
Hello. I'm so happy to see you, sis. How is all well? Your ears smiling and just as beautiful in your goddess energy. Tell the people who you are, sis.
yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm so many folks, right? But first and foremost, I'm Bakira Shabazz. I am the founder and president of the Injustice Reform Network. Folks probably know it as the Criminal Injustice Reform Network. However, we changed our name because we wanted to make sure that people understood that we were all encompassing when it comes to injustice. We are very passionate and intentional about eradicating all forms of injustice, no matter where it is, whether it's criminal, environmental, housing, economic, racial, whatever it is, we are going to show up on the scene to make sure that we do what we do and we do it really well. Like we um, believe in our rights, God given, and we understand our role in society. And so we're here to help other folks to see what their roles are and to fulfill their God given purpose on this realm so that we can definitely live in justice and peace, truth, freedom, liberation, and all those things good.
That is amazing. Really, really happy to hear that. And thank you for everything that you do. You do some amazing work, and it is not celebrated in the community enough. So today, we are going to make sure that we give you as many flowers as possible. Every type of all the colors of the roses, the white roses, the red roses, the yellow ones, the blue ones, the green ones, all the roses, we want to give
Yeah,
them to you today
yeah.
because there's a lot of people out here who you are helping. And for whatever reason, they might not have the voice necessary to give you your thanks and give you your praise, but you are out here helping our people. When they need you, you're available. Middle of the night, you're available. Early in the morning, you're available. So thank you so much, because we need individuals like you and individuals like Miss Uganda who are out here on the front lines. Right? Everybody thinks that the front lines is supposed to be in Iraq or in Afghanistan or maybe Ukraine. No, the front lines is right here in the United States of America when we're talking about the melanated beings of this country.
That's right. That's right. Well, you said it best. But
Most
Bakira, I'm
definitely.
always amazed that you are always on the scene. Like if I ever got in trouble, I've never been there, but if I ever got in trouble, I'm calling you before I call a lawyer because you know the law. But I actually did when we needed your help recently. I was like, what should we do? Because you are so passionate, but you understand the law back like the back of your hand. Can you talk a little bit about where that passion came from?
Oh my goodness. So, for those who don't know, I'm formerly incarcerated. I had my first run in with the law very early at 18 years old. But prior to that, I think I was born into this work because very early on, I wanted to be an attorney. So, like in second and third grade, I started running for SCA in elementary school. But when I had my first run in with the law, I was 18 years old. I was never offered in Hampton, Virginia, in fact, never offered the first offenders program. And when I found out about it, I was devastated because the charge that I was charged with was a crime of moral turpitude, which is fraud, theft, any of those charges are crimes of moral turpitude. And I happened to be with a minor who had stole their grandmother's credit card, and she was 17, I was 18. I caught the worst end of the stick because I was with her and I was considered an adult. And at that time, I didn't know. And so when I found out, I was furious. And that is what fueled my fire to never, ever let them get over on me again. They got me one time, but I was like, oh, you will not get me again. And so that's what that's what fueled the fire. And I started to study Virginia law first, and then I went into federal law. Then I started looking into different states, especially when I went to North Carolina, because at that age, when you have a crime of moral turpitude, you're not going to be able to get a job. No, nobody wants to hire somebody that can be considered a thief or liar. And so that spawned my career in crime. So I started committing white collar crime. I met a Colombian and this guy that was from Afghanistan, and they just introduced me to this world of white collar that truly provided the lifestyle that I wanted for me and my children. Like I am truly not apologetic for my role that I played in my life, and it allowed me to be present in my home. It allowed me to study and to raise my own children. And so I knew at that point that if I was going to be out here doing this type of stuff, I needed to learn the law around what it was I was doing, just in case I got caught up. I would know what to do when I went to court. And, a couple of times I got caught up, I knew what to do. Um, when I went to court. And so I was very successful at keeping myself safe. Um, and going through the system still, I was seeing people getting railroaded just constantly all the time. And I started to study different types of criminal law, family law, so that I could help other people um, to navigate through the system. And I remember this one judge, he said, "You're Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde." And I was like, it is what it is. And, and I was like kind of a Robin Hood too, because I provided for my community when I was out there at that time. Made sure that our children had educational toys and instruments and things like that, so that they can further enhance their education. And it was that I was kind of like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but that kind of is what um, led me down this road to start the Injustice Reform Network.
That's amazing. It's we all have our challenges. We all have our things that we're doing that we ain't supposed to be doing. But I think it's very powerful when we have leaders
Mm-hmm.
who have real transparency. One of the things that I talk about often is the processional energy that we're in, and that is the polar region of the Earth. So obviously, that's a almost 26,000 year process. Every 2,160 years, we go into a new great month. The new great month we're in now is called the Age of Aquarius, and that is a time of truth and transparency. For us to win in this time, we've got to live within truth and transparency. And I really appreciate you demonstrating that today, because that is spiritual energy in the matriarchal age from a matriarchal Ma'at.
Mm, I love that. I
Well,
love that.
one thing, I don't want anybody to think that they're gonna have one up on me. That's another thing. So no, I put my own story out, so you ain't got to tell it and tell no story. It's already out there. And hide for what? Like, my truth is in my story, and so I want folks to know that you can be in your truth, um, because it's bondage in hiding, and I'm definitely not gonna oppress myself. So, it is what it is. It happened. It was my moment in time at that time. I'm not in. I retired, by the way. um, but I learned a lot, and so I'm not ashamed of my story. I have three college graduates that I put through college as a single mother. One of those went to Cornell with a 4.7 grade point average. Another one, two others, Virginia State, graduated from the school College of Ag, and the other one just graduated from the College of Engineering and Political Science. And so, for,
That's
shame for
amazing.
what?
Great job, Mom. Seriously, that's amazing.
Absolutely.
Because I
Absolutely.
do believe that Cornell is one of those Ivy League schools, and just to have three college graduates, period, that is a real challenge. So that's amazing that you've done that. Keep doing those amazing things. Today our topic is no one is coming to save us. I don't think there's anybody on the planet who is a better interviewee for that topic than you. Why don't you dive in a little bit on that topic, on no one's coming to save us? What do you got to say about that?
Listen, folks. First of all, it is nobody else's job to save us but our own. I think there's a
That's
mass misconception that government is here to save us, or that government should save us. Never has there ever been a time where government saved the people. And so to believe that farce is to be, selling yourself short and selling yourself a lie. And so history is very important, and to do your due diligence so that you don't repeat it. And so what we do know is that we are our own answer. And we have to be, because it's our only jobs to be that answer, right? And
that's right.
so when we say that nobody is coming to save us, no, because they got to save their own selves. And so I'm
That's
not
right.
upset at white folks for white power. Of course not. They're doing what they have to do for self-preservation. Who I am upset is with black folks who are selling into that scheme and not putting it into their own. And so
That's right.
the more you wait for that for somebody to come, the longer it's going to take for you to get liberation. And liberation is a costly um, truth that we can obtain, and it's going to take sacrifice. A lot of folks don't want to sacrifice. That is a major thing when you have to ask them about what are you willing to lose for something, right? People are always willing to gain, but what are you willing to lose? And I remember what was so profound is when my daughter was going through her CPS case, and one time in my life, I was afraid to tell the people what was going on. It took me about 30 days. I held that thing. And I was like, no, I'm telling what this system is doing because this is not right. And I said, if I am to lose my grandbaby, I'm going to lose her fighting like hell. I'm not going to just give her up. And so I was willing, at that moment that I was willing to lose her, is when I gained everything.
Yeah, I remember when you were going through that, and it was like I was like, okay, is this really happening in America where your child is snatched away from you while you're in the hospital bed for no real reason? It just doesn't make sense. But then as you were going through that story, other stories were coming up and coming to light about how mothers were losing their children. I want to talk to you a little bit because with me being in the housing realm and helping people so often, we get phone calls, hey, I'm late on my rent, or I didn't pay my rent for a couple months, I'm about to get evicted. What organization do you know that can pay the rent? And often we say no one's coming to save you. What happened to the days with us saving ourselves with a rent party, sis? I remember me selling dinners because I couldn't make the bills work, and I had to get a hustle or going to the yard sale and selling a couple of things to bring in some extra money to take care of me and my family because I understood that it was my responsibility. We were not
Come
going to
on.
have anybody, like we didn't want people in our business like that in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But do you
Mm-hmm.
think COVID has something to do with that
I
mindset
think
shift?
I had to come into the light. Come into the light, Caroline. So listen, the first thing you said is when you were having problems, you realized what you had to do. See, folks have to take accountability for their situations.
Mm,
You cannot wait until that last day when your rent is due and you know they coming.
that's
Why?
right.
You knew you was gonna be short last month. And so why didn't you look at your resources? And it could be little or none. And figure out what you needed to do, whether that was making sandwiches and go to the shipyard, because what we do know is that they're gonna buy that food, right? Whether it was selling a service. Look, I got a braid, so if I can braid hair, or if I can um, um, run some errands for some folks to get some money out. Why are we not doing that? And I'm gonna tell you something. I have said, y'all probably never heard me say. Then you will never find the Justice Reform Network giving out no book bags or no pencils, because if you cannot buy your child pencils, that is a priorities problem. We know that school come around every year. And so, why have you not prepared to have your children with the least of the essentials, right? We wait until we know that they're going to have these school supply fairs, and we go out and we go and get these school supplies so that we don't have to spend that money.
Yeah.
It's enabling poverty. And I know some folks about to be mad at me for this, but I don't care because I'm going to tell you the truth. That's why the people don't mess with me like that, because you can't handle the truth. Folks like to be lied to, people. They don't like the truth. They like to be lied to. And I just can't do that. I love you. It might not seem like I love you, but I love you too much to tell you a lie. I cannot. And I would
Mm.
like to elevate people's mindset so they can do better. We're not having no fish fries. And if we are having the fish fries, because we're having a fish fry to buy fishing rods so we can teach a man to fish. Okay.
Come on.
We are
No,
not
Yeah,
going
I really
to
appreciate that.
the
That is
impoverished mindset.
that's right.
absolutely.
We're
You
not
know,
doing that.
before we go any further, I want to show some love to Miss Sharika Fauntleroy. She
Yes.
is doing an amazing job with the comments. She is burnt. I mean, they coming in heavy. You know, hey,
Hey,
keep them coming,
Sharika,
sister. Keep them coming, sister. Tell your friends, whoever around you, go ahead and shoot us some comments.
if you feel so inclined to share,
We need to
please
get
do
this
so.
message out to everybody.
Come on. That's true. I'm loving this. The fact that we have the incomparable Minister Bakura Shabazz. I know your name rings bells before you even walk in the room, sis. Sometimes people are frightened, some people love you. Like, how do you get so much accomplished with your name preceding you in such a manner?
You know, this one lady told me, she said, when you come in the room, you command the room. And it's not that I'm trying to do that. It's just that I'm serious about what it is that I came to do. When I'm coming to do business, that's what I'm coming to do. I'm not looking to make friends. I'm coming to handle business. And so serious is what is going to be on my face. And so if you really want to get to know who Bakura is, you got to be willing to get to know who Bakura is. I promise you, if you don't know me, you probably have some misconceptions about who the woman Bakura Shabazz is. I know I come off very aggressive, abrasive, and all of these negative connotations, but that's what love does. Love does not sugarcoat. You know, there's a
Yeah.
lot of misconceptions about what care and compassion and love is. I'm the one that's going to be willing to sacrifice my life. And I have done this for a long time. When I go in those courtrooms or go in the police department, especially by myself, fearless, that is love. That is
Yeah.
love, you know? And so we need to really recognize what's real out here, because
That's
we gotta we believe some things that are not true, and it's hurting us. It is truly hurting our people, and it's hurting our communities.
That's right. That's right. So often, love is accountability. Love is telling you that you're wrong, that in order to get you right. Love is having those hard conversations. It's not always giggles and hugs and nice dinners. It's about, let me work together so that we can be better together. Let me show you or speak to you about the mistakes that I made so you won't make those same mistakes. And you do a wonderful job of doing that, sis. Yes.
Well,
Absolutely.
I
When I think
appreciate
about no one is coming to save us, it kind of helps me to go back to a time in my life when I had an attitude of expecting. There's a word for that. Whatever.
Mm,
It's not coming to my mind. But I expected mom and dad to do this. I expected
that.
homies to do
Entitlement.
that. Entitlement. There you go. I expected this or that person. I had a certain spirit of entitlement, and I didn't understand that this was a journey from the moment of conception, technically before that, all the way through transition to the next life, where I was supposed to get it done on my own.
that's right.
And I just didn't understand that. And I would imagine that there's a lot of people out there who don't truly understand that. And I think that this is a point where we need to get to. We need to get to this understanding that we are supposed to save us using the resources that are right here on this earth. The people who have millions and billions of dollars, they're using the resources right here on this earth, and they are transforming those materials. They are taking that human energy and they are translating it into millions and billions of dollars. Well, we can do the exact same thing.
That's so true. That's so true. Can you talk a little bit about the people that we know that need your assistance or might not know where to go? Because a lot of times what I have seen is that people, they stop and pause and kind of are stagnant because they just don't know which way to turn. So how do we change that mindset and get people to be hopeful again?
I think we might have. I think Minister Bakira might be in the matrix for a second. But hit me with that question one more time. I'm gonna answer it.
Well, how do we get to the point that we are instilling hope into our community? We recognize what the issue is, and a lot of times people just don't move forward because they don't know what to do and they're stagnant in the place that they are, whether it's not having a confidence, or just not knowing who to trust in this world. So where do we get back to a space that we can trust and be hope, instill hope into the people that we know need it to move forward?
That's a great question, and I have the perfect answer for it. We've got to trust nature. We've got to learn who we are so we can hear that inner voice that is telling us exactly what it is to do. Make no mistake about it. Everybody's inner voice is telling them exactly what they're supposed to be doing every single day. But sometimes we may be ingesting suggestions from the television, or ingesting suggestions from Chipotle, or ingesting suggestions from this or that person that's not serving. And it is overpowering that subtle voice within that is telling you exactly what you're supposed to be doing, exactly how you're supposed to move. We've got to get back to ingesting nature. We've got to get back to eating the plants. We've got to get back to drinking water on a consistent basis. All of these different things puts us in a position to hear that inner voice. That inner voice is going to tell us exactly how to move on this path to avoid all hurt, harm, and danger. That voice is going to tell us exactly how to manifest all the things that we're supposed to be manifesting to do our journey the way we're supposed to achieve our assignment the way that we are supposed to. So how we get back to where we're supposed to be, we have to know thyself. This is the only way that the masses are going to go back to nature, or else it's going to be a whole lot of decades of all kinds of different campaigns on television, on social media to get people to eat plants, to get people to eat their vegetables and their fruits and their nuts, seeds, and legumes. Well, we don't need any of that. What we need is for every single person to know thyself. And when that happens, they will trust thyself. They will have courage for thyself, and they will move down the path of righteousness for themselves and for every single person around them because of the integrity that they build in their core of self. And then what they give to everybody else is that love that Bakira was just talking about, that sacrifice she was just talking about.
Yes, yes. And I really feel that. So we need to be still. We need to listen, and we have to trust ourselves and eat more plants.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And we also need to let go of things that aren't serving us. So yes, we do need to eat the plants. We do need to drink water, but we also need to live in the reality that we are ingesting things that aren't serving us. We have to let those things go. So those things are not just hamburgers and hot dogs. Those things are not just Pepsi and whatever fruit juice that's got like 15 different ingredients on the list that you can't pronounce none of the words. It's not just that. It's also what we're ingesting through conversation. It's also what we're ingesting using this. It's also what we're ingesting from driving down the road. All of that is suggestion. This is the law of suggestion that I'm talking about. What we experience in repetition, we become, right? So if we understand something that simple, what we should be doing is saying, well, what do I want to become? You ask yourself that question. You sit down in a quiet space, just you, nobody else. What do I want to become? You ask yourself that question and you give yourself the time you need to answer it. But when you answer it, you've got to take the time to say, all right, I want to be whatever it is that they choose they want to be, right? But you got to be realistic about what you got to do now to get to that point. There's got to be some work that's got to happen. There's got to be some humility. There's got to be some sacrifice. There's got to be some things that a group of people are doing, or just an individual person is doing to get to that point. All right, before I keep going further though, I want to thank everybody who's tuning in. Thank you to everybody who's commenting, loving, liking, sharing, subscribing. Please continue to do that. We want to get this message out to the masses, and we're about to bring our queen back to the table. We got two queens in the room right now. We got Queen Ma'at, and we got the Queen of the Scribes.
Oh, wow. Hey.
Sorry, listen. When the fire come, it started running through all the wires and everything else. It happens all the time. It'd be just too much.
It's all right. We got you back, and we appreciate it. Thank you so much, sis, for joining us again. We have the incomparable Bakira Sarbaz with us with the Injustice Network. Can you talk a little bit about the work that you have done? I know you've been working on cases, individual cases. You want to speak about some of those outcomes?
Say that one more time. It kind of broke up.
Oh, no worries. We want to talk about the work that you have done, the outcomes, the impact that it's not the criminal, the Injustice Network does, because you're here in the streets. You do work in Hampton, Newport News, Petersburg, Baltimore. You're everywhere. So, can you talk about your impact in the community with the individuals that you work with?
Well, we're a national organization, and oftentimes our work is behind the scenes. So we're inside the courtrooms. We're dealing with attorneys. With
We lose her
yes,
again.
CPS is an administrative agency. So when it comes to impact, we have a 100% success rate with all of our cases with folks, our clients that have worked with us. And we are very successful in that way, not only because we know the law, but because our relationships that we have built with attorneys that also trust us to come up with legal strategies as a team. And so, you know, we don't want to be forceful and have on social media if we don't have to, but we most definitely will if there is injustice and they are not trying to rectify the issue. And so not only in the judicial system, be it administrative, civil, or criminal, communally, like the accountability isn't just systemic with our organization. The accountability is communal with our organization. If Ray Ray go and shoot up the block, we're not putting on the Free Ray Ray shirt. Like, you have traumatized the whole community. Grandparents and children can't sit on the porch. We are not with the shits, and we're not going to wear the Free Ray Ray shirt. We're going to make sure Ray Ray make sure that his due process rights are protected. But Free Ray Ray is not what we are going to sit here and support. No, we're going to get Ray Ray the resources that he needs, but Ray Ray going to have to sit down for a little bit and understand that his behaviors are in direct contradiction to what we want to model in our communities and what we want our foremothers and fathers to see and be happy for. And so we cannot continue to uplift the chicanery. We won't do it. I don't care who it is, whether it's my child, your child, and anybody's. We're not going to do that. And we're not going to be quiet about it either. You'll see, there was a post yesterday that said, folks do not stand up for what's right. They stand up for who they like. And that is so true. And we're not doing that. Even if I like you and you're wrong, you're going to get this fire. You got to right your wrongs. You cannot be in my company and you have offended somebody. You have to right that. It is required. It is not optional at all.
That is so true.
And so when it comes to impact, I don't think the community I don't think they really understand that yet, and that should be required, and that the community should set its own standards on what it will tolerate and what it won't. And that is what's needed.
But we have the power to do it. I want to take a moment to let everyone, our listening audience, know, if you want to be a guest, if you want to speak to Minister Bakura Shabazz, please request the link. The link is available. We'll get it out to you so you can join us on this podcast. This isn't just for Ferdinand and Yugonda and Minister Bakura. It's for all of us. This is our community roundtable to ask the questions we need, make the comments that you need to make, and share information. We're building our village right here. And thank you so much for joining us again, Bakura.
Awesome. Thank y'all for having me.
Oh, we cannot talk about justice without having you here. We can't. We talked about how you're my unofficial lawyer, but you're definitely the first person that my family calls. So can we talk a little bit about accountability, because you did bring accountability up. And accountability is missing all across the board, from self accountability to systems that we know were never built for us in the first place. Let's talk about how we hold those accountable.
Well, first we got to hold ourselves accountable. Who are you to hold somebody else accountable and you won't hold yourself accountable first? It's hypocrisy. We don't practice that here. And so before you can call somebody else out, you have to call out yourself first and also be willing to be called out. So many people be like, oh, don't take it to social media. Don't do this, this, that. Listen, let me tell you something. If there is a community predator, and I'm talking about realistically, folks, not you done got mad at somebody and you just want to throw them under the bus type. No. If there is a community predator, you have an obligation to alert the community that there is a snake amongst us. Because if you know and you don't say anything and that snake bites, you just as much as accountable. Because you didn't have enough care to make sure that other people can watch out for the snake. So when folks see, they're like, oh my goodness, she called somebody out. Let me tell you something. I always offer folks the opportunity to cure. You get three chances to cure your wrongs. And if you don't, if it is something involving the community, I am going to at you. Y'all seen it? I am most certainly going to at you, and I'll probably go live. And I've done it on not a whole lot, but I've done it on. I'm not going to say it on this platform, but I've done it to one of our whatever you want to call them. I'm not going to call them an advocate or a faketivist or whatever a fraud, community fraud, because they're out there. Like, let's be real, they're out there. A lot of people, listen, I've been doing this stuff before it was cute. Like, everybody is attaching themselves to advocacy now because of grants and this, that, and the third. It's not coming here.
Let's talk about that.
You know what I'm saying? And so it wasn't cute back then. And I'm talking about back, I've been out here since 96. When there was no money.
Yeah. And
we're there to make sure that I got the information out to the people.
I love it. Well, I wanted to talk about, you are lagging a little bit, but I did. It's okay. We're gonna work with it because we hear your heart through the lag. It's okay. But I wanted to talk a little bit about how we met, because I was a young activist out here, and it was a call to action. I said, oh, somebody's going to city council. I can't even remember what it was for. But it's like, okay, going to city council. I'm like, someone has the answer. We can't just talk about it and complain amongst people that can't do nothing about it. We got to go to city council. And it was it was far and wide. I think I saw it wasn't on social media. I might have saw like a flyer somewhere, and it said meet at the Pearl Bailey Library. And I was like, I'm ready. I'm coming with a bullhorn, all these things. And I get there, and it's you and no one else, just us. And we still went to city council. I love it. I love it. So your heart has definitely been in it. I love how you bring receipts. When people try to call you out, you like, because this is what happened, and you had the receipts. Can you speak a little bit about because you did mention fake activists and organizations. And unfortunately, we know that there's a predator or people, organizations, what have you, that are out here and taking grant money and making it look good and it isn't good, and doing what's easy and not effective. All those things are out here. But for some reason, those are the groups that really are highlighted in the work. Can you talk a little bit about how you're able to maneuver through that? I mean, I know you say you call them out and all these things, but what is behind the scenes? Because even though they're not willing to partner with you, they have to respect you. They have to respect you and respect your work. How are you able to still come at them and say, you're not right, but you're able to work with them to get to the solution?
Can you all hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Okay,
so as far as the organizations are concerned, it's not just organizations. It's people. This is how it's been. Folks follow concerned about what's right. Folks love the photographs. They love to be in, like, that has never been what has been doing the work. It's never been that. And so for me,
So Miss Bakura might have a little bit of some technical difficulties, but it's all good.
vulnerable.
We're very thankful for Minister Bakura coming through and giving us some knowledge. Next time we might have to tell her to turn off all Wi-Fi devices in the house.
Listen, I didn't even realize I had both of them set up. And so that's probably what it was this whole time. I had to turn the other one off. Oh my goodness. Am I still lagging?
Nope,
Not at all.
Oh my God. Well, we got to go back to that question. Let me answer that question, because that's important. Throughout history, we've seen what's popular is what people follow. When you look at music, TV, whatever is popular, that's what people follows. The people who have been actually doing the work have never gotten a major following. And so for me, I don't necessarily call those organizations out. I just do what it is that I do and hope that the people see the difference, that they are able to differentiate what it is that we do versus what the other folks do. And I tell folks to ask people for the receipts. Who have you helped? How have you helped them? Can you prove this? You need to be able to get definite answers. And just because, and one population that I'm extremely protective of is our children, because there's so many youth groups out here now, and the target is supposed to be at-risk youth. But a lot of these programs, they're not going to get the at-risk youth. For one, they don't even qualify to work with at-risk youth. And so they'll say, oh, we're working with at-risk youth. Those children are not the one. At-risk youth are not going to those programs. Let's be clear. At-risk youth is trying to get the money on the corner. If you are truly caring about the children and gun prevention and balance, you got to be willing to go out on the streets. And what you cannot do is tell somebody to set their gun down and have nothing else to give them, and not offer any protection, not offer any relocation, not offer any of that. Because what happens is when they put their protection down and whoever is after them come get them, that is irresponsible. But these groups are not, they ain't worried about that. And they know this, because a lot of them are people who are formerly incarcerated. And so really understanding the dynamic of what's going on out here is truly important, so that you don't continue to remain a vulnerable population. And most of our communities, Black communities, are extremely vulnerable. Miseducated voters. They do not understand the political climate or true civic engagement in itself. They just know that I'm supposed to vote, but they ain't doing nothing else out the other 364 days of the year but complaining. You don't know your people that you're voting for voting record. You don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. You're not keeping up with stuff. And so we get had. We think that people, because they showing up with their suits on and they got 37 degrees, that they are the ones, but they ain't did no boots on the ground or nothing else. And because they shiny, we support them. And the people that also ran, that was on the ground with their jeans dirty, hands dirty, making sure you got what you needed, those are the folks that y'all don't support. And that's problematic for me.
I agree with you. That's a huge problem, and it's, unfortunately, it's across the board. It's in law. It's in media. It's in the religious space. It's in the school systems. It's everywhere. You got a lot of people out here. No, I wouldn't say a lot, but let's say you got a handful of people out here who are doing that work that you're talking about, getting their knees dirty, getting their elbows dirty, getting a little dirt on their face, and they getting they getting smacked, they getting knocked the hell out. And then after it's all over, you didn't even take them to Cheesecake Factory. You ain't
McDonald's.
Let's go to the gas station. Let me fill your tank up. None of that is happening. And that, right, I'm 100% agreement with you. And I want to give a personal message, right, concerning that. There's quite a few people I've helped around the world in the last 7 years to start businesses and all those types of things. But I'm gonna give one example. There was a family who came to me and they said, "Hey, we really want to get this LLC for the security business." I said, "Too easy. Let's get this done. Set up the meeting, and before the meeting is over, you're gonna have everything you need to go get the business bank account." Right? So they did, and then during the meeting, they messed up. They say, "Yeah, we really appreciate what you're doing. Because last time we went to LegalZoom and we spent like 1,500 just for the LLC or something like that, right?" And I'm just sitting back like, "Oh yeah, I'm glad that we was able to get this done without that." But I'm just sitting back like, "Hold up, man. I not only just helped you get your LLC, your operations agreement. We wrote that in real time on the Zoom. The articles of organization, the employer identification number. We got all of that, right? And then I gave him the exact information that he needed to go to the bank and get the business bank account. Then I said, "Hey, after you're done with that, come back. We're gonna set the website up, and then we're gonna connect the business bank account to the website." After we got all of that done, I never heard from him again.
And you're not. And you're not. And you're not. And I'm going to tell you why you're not. Because the community doesn't require it. Because we love that. You know what I'm saying? Because we like to remain neutral and we say nothing when wrong and that is dead wrong. You can afford to pay LegalZoom, who I'm telling you did not do all that you just did. And let's be clear, because I do know about LegalZoom and all these other little legal entities that y'all going to create these documents. You better make sure that they're legitimate because they're getting sued. Just to let y'all know. So while you around here, you got your little LegalZoom or your what's the other one? Whatever the other one is.
Rocket Lawyer.
And you rock, yeah. And you think your paperwork right? Okay, keep on thinking it's right. You better follow up with an attorney and make sure that it's right. Because those organizations, those companies are being sued every day. And I know because we talked about it in the ABA conference last year. But anywho, we don't require it. Folks like to remain neutral. They don't want to call, they don't want to be, they be like, I'm going to stay out of, and I hate a I'm going to stay out of it person. The Bible said, choose ye this day whom ye shall serve. And that also goes for right or wrong. And the Bible also talks against being lukewarm. Neutral folks are lukewarm. You can't trust them because you don't know which way they're going to go. And when it comes time for somebody to take up for you, they're going to be, I don't want to. You ain't getting that with me. You're not going to get, you'll never hear me say, it could be my best friend and somebody I don't know. And I'm going to tell you a story. My best friend, she gonna kill me. She went and took out a charge on somebody, right? And I said, I'm gonna show up in court and I'm gonna tell them you took this you better go over there and make sure they pull this shit back. I'm not playing with you. And she did that. The person that it was against, I don't even like his ass, but I ain't playing them games. And I meant that. And she did it. She was like, I was wrong for that. Yeah, we cannot continue to move like that. Right is right, is wrong. Period. And you got to start forcing people to right their wrongs. You're not riding with me in my car and you done offended somebody and you ain't righted your wrongs.
Facts. No, that's real right there. I think that like what you're saying, it sounds like community accountability. And we need to count. Like one of the things that I'm not necessarily a firm believer in, but I want to give this quick story. When in Haiti, and you out in them villages, out in the bush, don't do something wrong to one of these other families, and that other family is respected. Everybody coming to your house with machetes,
and rightfully so.
This is real. This is something that people need to be thinking about because this is community accountability. I'm not saying it's right, but what I am saying is we need to have something like that. It doesn't necessarily need to be
right,
but we need, just like how you could get blackballed in music or in other industries, you can get blackballed because of whatever, right? Well, this is community. This is a certain type of community accountability. We need to have the same thing in our neighborhoods, in our cities, in our states, and in this country as a whole. And then we definitely need to have it in a global arena. We need to have community accountability. All these individuals out here who are doing this stuff that we do not agree with, and we have already let them know this is not going to work. No, listen, you done. Go ahead.
Folks are not going to be willing to give up their benefits. See, that's what I'm talking about the sacrifice.
Before you go in, I want to say this real quick. Right? There is a very specific person, okay, right here in the 757 for the last 7 years that has done some crazy stuff. Y'all know exactly who I'm talking about. And this is the type of community accountability that we need to enact for people like that. I'm not going to say that person's name, but let's just say there's a bullhorn that goes with this person.
Tell me who it is.
After the call. I ain't even gonna do it to that person. I ain't gonna say their name, but everybody knows. Everybody who lives in southeastern Virginia, they already know. If you're talking about a bullhorn, we only talking about one person.
Oh, well, shoot, I thought it was a couple bullhorns down there.
No, it's only one with a bullhorn and a flag.
Oh.
Okay. I'm glad we're on this topic though, because while we're talking about accountability and holding those individuals, organizations accountable, let's talk a little bit about how people, it may be lukewarm or not, but say that everyone's fight isn't their fight, which means that maybe they're doing the best that they can in their realm or whatever that they're doing, but may not want to join in on someone else's fight, but think that they're doing enough. What do you have to say to that?
Our fight is our fight. And so, like, see, that's when folks feel like they can live outside of, we coexist. And so when we say that, what's one that they'll be like, it ain't happened to me, or that's not my business. But guess what? When it happened to your motherfucking ass, you're gonna want the justice. And we see it so often. I ain't doing it, but when it happened to you, where they at? Wanting somebody to advocate on their behalf or to fix it. And so we cannot move in that vein. It's counterproductive to our advancement to act like we don't see it, to turn a blind eye. What's the saying? Dr. King, injustice. I told you, Ferdinand, the brain fog is serious. And anywhere is a threat to injustice everywhere. Yes, that's what that is. You cannot remain neutral. What's the other one? You cannot remain neutral in times of injustice, or when you choose to remain neutral in times of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. That's real. This ain't play. This is, are we gonna survive or not?
Yeah. I always admire you because you're so vocal and bold and is there. And I'm not saying that I don't have that same boldness, but I really appreciate our relationship because I don't move how you move, but we're still able to balance each other in the work and have great impacts because we respect each other on a different level. And I think that's maybe something that's not here. Well, I know that's something that's not here amongst organizations or individuals today, to just, if you find that respect level for the work that you do, then you kind of dismiss the human actions, right? I know that if I have a young person that is getting involved in the judicial system, something's going on, I'm still going to refer them to Bakura. I might not be like, oh Lord, well, she's going to be bold and she's going to tell you exactly what she thinks, but that doesn't take away from the work. I just love that, and I appreciate that about you, Bakura, is that you still allow me, Uganda, to be Uganda, and you be yourself, but we're still able to balance out and get this work done together.
Yeah, everybody has their role, right? Everybody is not going to be me. Everybody's not going to be Uganda or Ferdinand or what have you else, right? And it's not required that you be me or me be you. But what is required is that when there is an offense, that all of us come together to rectify that offense. That is a requirement. That is not optional. And that too, I think folks want folks to be them. It's not required that they be, you, but it is required in a community that when there is a harm done, that is called in.
That's true.
I agree. I agree 100%. This is something that we definitely need to do. If you could give us a few things that we all could work on to build stronger community, what would those things be?
Number one is yourself. Work on get you a mirror. Always keep a mirror. I got a mirror in my purse. I got the mirror in my car. Always keep a mirror. Because self-reflection is for me, it's powerful. And I'm not always right. And y'all see me, like I tell y'all on social media, I was wrong. I didn't do, you know what I'm saying? I apologize out front. And I'm not saying that everybody has to do that, but it's because of self-reflection. I want so honestly and genuinely to treat people the way that I want to be treated. And I have a desire to treat people good. Don't cross me though, because this can go both ways. But I do have a desire. I don't like that, but I do have a desire to treat people well. I do honestly want good for everybody. That is my wish. You know what I'm saying? Number two would be to want for your brother what it is that you want for yourself. And that doesn't mean exactly, because your brother may not want a boat and you want a boat. But whatever it is that he or she, them or they want that for them. Will that for them. Pray for them. Work with them. Help them. Build that. And number three is unify.
I love that.
That is amazing. Minister Bakira, Shabazz, the digital age Ma'at. Listen, everybody out there, I'm putting the Injustice Reform Network up here. Y'all go Google that. Yeah. Y'all go Facebook it. Y'all go Instagram it, TikTok it. Listen, go and find the Injustice Reform Network and go support it. Listen, this woman is working with a team of professionals, and they are making sure our people are good. Now, understand, we talking about accountability. So everybody got to be accountable for what they're doing, but they're still making sure each person doesn't have to serve 1 day longer than what they're supposed to. Doesn't have to pay $1 extra than what they're supposed to in fines. Is not being beat down in the middle of the street by police. Not being killed in the middle of the forest where nobody can. Yeah, and I hear y'all laughing, but I want everybody to really understand everything that I'm talking about. This has happened, and it is still happening. Listen, Emmett Till happened in 1955, but ever since then, we've had lynchings again and again and again and again. They happen in different types of ways. George Lynch was a lynching. It just wasn't with a rope. Yeah, we are an endangered species out here. Okay. And how we win is us coming together, us unifying, as the sister just said, us having accountability of self and making sure that as a group, we have accountability of each other. These are things that need to be mandatory, as she said. Now, I want to thank the sister. Thank you so much, Queen Mother, for coming through and telling us all this good information about how we care for our community, because this is important. Make no mistake about it. And we need to hear it the way you gave it. Everybody needs to hear it in an unapologetic type of way. They don't need to hear it sugar-coated. We've done that.
I can't do it. I can't. I just can't do it.
Thank you so much for coming through. We really appreciate you.
Yes.
Thank you all for having me.
Yes. What events do you have? Because you stay on the go. We just did a cleanup of the Chesapeake Bay, and I love that. But can you tell us about what events you have coming on, how we can engage with your network?
Of course. So I know we talked a lot about the injustice system, but we also do a lot of environmental justice work and environmental injustice eradication. So on July 6th, we will be having our Bee Pollinator Day. It was rescheduled from May the 18th. We're going to be at Zion Baptist at 9 o'clock. So if you want a pollinator garden or you want a vegetable garden in your yard or in your business, please let us know. We are planting those for free. We are about teaching a man to fish, and that also means teaching a man to garden. Because what we do know is that through that, you reduce grocery burdens, you reduce emissions by going, back and forth to the store, reduce grocery costs, and you can help your brothers and sisters in your community if you're growing. Everybody should have a garden. Our goal is to have a garden in every yard in Newport News in the next 3 years. So help us out. Help us out.
I love that. And I love that you were working with Sister Renee Foster. She was actually our first guest on episode 1 talking about Hampton Roads urban agriculture. So that's where the event's going to be, July the 6th.
Yes, awesome. And we have another one, July the 20th at King Lincoln Park, which is our Wetlands Community Day. It is going to be major. You are not going to want to miss this one. It's going to be the first one. Most people of color are not involved in wetlands restoration or protection. We definitely need to be involved with wetlands because, especially in downtown Newport News, sea level rise is a big issue. We're going to be talking about flooding, flood insurance to make sure that you all are covered and have enough should the water rise up and come down over the embankment. You want to have enough flood insurance because what we have seen is that a lot of people have not updated their flood insurance, and you're going to be in trouble if something happens and you do not have the right coverage. So we're going to be bringing that type of information to our community to keep our community safe. So yeah,
that's really good.
I want to say something real quick. I apologize. I got to say this because this is important. Minister Bakura just said something really important. She said that our people don't get involved with wetlands. We don't get involved with the environment. We've got to come to an understanding that many of us have a problem with quote unquote white people or Caucasian people having control of our water supply, our food supply, and so many other things that we call necessities. But for us to take control, we've got to get out in these wetlands. We've got to build gardens. We've got to build houses from scratch. We've got to build buildings. We've got to understand mathematics. We've got to understand astrology, astronomy, and all the different sciences. This is how we take control of our community. And some of us are not going to be good at certain things. Some of us are going to be good at certain things. And so what we do is we do exactly what Minister Bakura and Yugonda was just talking about. Yugonda was just saying, hey, I don't move like you. I move the way I move and you move the way you move, but we complement each other. We're working together. Well, what is that? That's collectivism. There's too much individualism. We got to stop that. That right there is hurting us. It's putting us in a position where every single time 4 years comes around or 2 years comes around or whenever it's time for a new election, well, they come around and they want our vote. They want it bad. And they're willing to tell us anything. And as soon as they get in office, forget them niggas. We ain't worried about them. Well, why?
Even the black one.
Because there's no power in our community because we don't understand our environment. If we are going to be drinking water, we need to understand the water supply. If we're going to eat food, we need to understand the land. If we're going to live in houses, we need to understand everything about that house. We need to know all of it. If we're going to be in that legal system in any which way, shape, or form, we need to know that legal system back and forth. Well, not every one of us is going to be able to know the legal system very well. Not every one of us is going to understand the wetlands very well. So what we're going to have to do is trust our brother and trust our sister.
And we are most definitely bringing that, Ferdinand. So with our organization, we have a licensed contractor. We have a urban farmer. We have a horticulturalist. We got urban tree planters. We have arborists. We are also a part of the Black Landscapers Alliance. Shout out to Alex Smith in Baltimore for bringing us this marvelous opportunity to be able to control our own destinies and to be able to build and have the people that are going to be there to help us see that through. And so when we talk about being in control of our own destinies, and, I said something on one of our calls one day. I said, listen, I told God, when he said, God bless the child that has his own, that has been my prayer for the past 2 years. I want us to have our own. I don't want us to have to ask for nothing. And things have been starting to manifest itself so that we can have those things that we want, so that we don't have to be in wanting or ask. God said the answer is yay and amen. So we're going to go get it. And we're going to have the things that we need. And we're going to have the connections that we need. That's why I'm connected all over. I'm just not in Virginia. I'm in different, states, because and not only that, we're international too. One of our members just purchased a house in Colombia, is looking to buy another one in Nigeria. We are connected to the Soul membership, which connect us to 147 other countries. Like, this is major.
Absolutely. So Miss Bakira, Minister Bakira Shabazz, the Queen Mother, the Digital Age Ma'at. Thank you so much for coming through. We're about to close out, but we want to make sure that before we close out, listen, everybody out there, we got a global audience here. Listen, go to Injustice Reform Network. Okay, listen, I'm telling y'all right now, I ain't telling you no website, I ain't telling you no social media is nothing. You got to go to all of them and find Injustice Reform Network. Go and support this movement. This is important for our people and for humanity. This is a new movement that we need to make contagious. Okay, so y'all go and support this sister. All right, thank you so much, Minister Bakira, for coming through. We really appreciate it.
Welcome. Thank y'all for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Bakira. I just, we talk all the time. I'm just happy you're up here. People are seeing your light and your beautiful self, because we, a lot of people just take what they see in the heat of passion in the work and say, oh, that's who you are. But you are a beautiful being. And I just thank you for all that you are.
Thank you. And y'all too, likewise.
Yes, ma'am.
I love y'all. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Awesome.
So we have reached the end, and we are so thankful for Minister Bakira coming through and giving the amazing information that she's getting, and also being transparent. Listen, there's a lot of people who come on these podcasts, come on TV shows, and they'll never tell you the crazy things that they did. They'll never tell you the ways that they fail or they failed. They'll never tell you that. They'll never tell you they had to get back up 15 times before they won. No, Minister Bakira is giving you the real. The reason why she's so effective is because she was once one of the people that she's helping now. And we've got to start to support individuals who are willing to give us the real truth, the ugly truth, and giving us the other piece of the truth. But they're giving us the whole circle, the whole cycle. We got to support that. Injustice Reform Network. Get on over there and support.
Definitely. I agree. I'm always in awe of how she breaks down law and just the amazing things that she does. And for people to look at that when she's in the height of argument and say that's who she is, like, this lady really loves us. She loves people. She loves the community. It just doesn't look like what people feel like it should look like, but it's all love.
Facts.
Yeah.
So, Miss Yugonda, you got any closing remarks?
I just want to thank everyone for listening to us this evening. Make sure you check us out next Friday. We're here every Friday at 6 p.m. because what else do you have to do on a Friday night but hang with and vibe with us? But we have another phenomenal guest. She just confirmed, so I am excited about next week as well. Fridays are my favorite days now, not just because of the weekend, because we get time to vibe with you. So thank you so much for joining the Community Roundtable. I am your favorite community auntie and connector, Yugonda Sample Jones.
That is amazing. So thankful for you. Really appreciate you. Looking forward to the next guest. Fridays are definitely one of my favorite days as well. But hey, everybody, hey, listen. Can y'all hear me? Listen. Expose your gift.